Hello and welcome to Perspectives. May I introduce?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you
You need
very,
an introduction.
thank you very much for joining us tonight. As far back as I remember, cinema was an important part of our young life. I remember it used to be a family event. We would go in large numbers to watch films like Ziddi. I have this childhood memory of going to Samson and Delilah. And then, of course, to Godfather, which I was slightly older. But it was a family event. It was a large event. It was an educational event. But hindsight, when I look back and watch some of these old movies which we watched as children, and some of these old songs, which are phenomenal songs then, when you look back and you realize what we've become today is because of what our cinema was doing back then. How we have, with humble apologies to the society, how we've ridiculed women, how we've created taboos, how we've created dogmas in the society. It was all done by our film. Careless content, careless inclusion of ideas which shouldn't be there, careless fight scenes, which is okay, larger than life. And then cinema came to a point where everything was larger than life, highly inspired by Japanese and Chinese silent movies, over-exaggerated expressions, you know, and that exaggeration created the absolute downfall of Pakistani cinema. And with that went theatres. Cinema, movie making went nosedived completely, and then what nosedived was actually the cinema business. I remember latest English movies being released at one time, and then they all disappeared. And cinemas like Lyric and Star and Prince and Nishat, and since I know only Karachi, I'm taking Karachi names, this either disappeared or just sort of shut down. Air conditioning disappeared, fans started hanging. I remember when Prince came up with Cinema Scope and large, it was the talk of the town. And then there was nothing left. But in the past couple of years, something amazing is happening. We are making a revival. We are coming back with a punch. Initially, when the cinemas, new cinemas or cineplexes started showing imports and at times Indian movies, the society was like, oh my God, well, look at what's happened. Now suddenly our own filmmaking is making a return. The discussion today is not the films, but the cinema business. And another sequel to the show, we will do the filmmaking as well. But tonight we'll talk about the revival of the cinema and, of course, the great contribution theatres or cinemas are making in this industry. My dear friends on the show who are regulars, and I'm pleased that they're regulars because to the very few people who have great value and have opinions about life. And the reason I'm mentioning this here today is because I would love to see more and more people who would have such a broad spectrum of interest in life. Mohsen Saeed, thank you very much for being here. And Ms. Samra Muslim, thank you so much for taking time out being here. On my left, CEO of Cinepax, Mr. Hashim Raza. Hashim, thank you very much for taking time out. And on my far left, CFO of a brand new Karachi happening, the new multiplex, Mr. Salim Lashir. So thank you very much. Congratulations. I hear it's a brilliant, brilliant place. I was just being told by Samra that we have to check it out. So thank you for setting up such a thing, and welcome to the show. I'd like to start with you, Salim. As we were talking earlier before the show started, and you said you have great plans for setting up 100 screens in Pakistan. So tell us about your plans and what's the vision behind the whole exercise?
That is correct. So this company was started in '07, and if I may, this was one of the companies that started this wave of revival of the exhibition industry in Pakistan, because we established our first multiplex in Pindi, 5 screens and 1,400 seats. Unheard of at that time, especially in a military cantonment in Pindi, right? And so we had to do a lot of market development phase back in those days. Because, as you said, I grew up in Islamabad, and my parents never took me to a cinema just because they thought it's not healthy entertainment for family. But we tried to change that mindset, and to change that mindset in a middle class, it's it's some story. It took us at least 2 years where we changed the market, and we started seeing people as many as 7,000 walk-in people in one day at our Jinnah Park Pindi location. And that's when the change first struck Pakistani society. And all the other people started to think about, well, if this change can happen in Pindi, why not cities like Lahore and Karachi? So now, mashallah, we are, if I may, we are number one in Pakistan with 11 screens, with screens in Karachi, single screeners, multiplexes. But it doesn't finish here. It is, as we were discussing before, we have a vision of keep expanding 20, 30, 40, 50, as much as north of 100 screens over the next 36 to 48 months. This is a pipeline, and as you know, there are delays, there are challenges.
You said 2007, which is 6 years ago.
That is correct.
11 screens, and now you say in the next 4 years you will take that up tenfold. So is there an exponential growth?
It is going to be, but initially the challenges were much harder than we would have thought.
Okay, let me come back to you for the challenges. Let's hold that thought for now. Another thing I'd like to mention here, what happened in the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, was that entertainment disappeared from Pakistan. Not just cinema, every kind of entertainment disappeared. I think as a nation we stopped laughing. And what happened is that, for whatever reason, the political, non-political reasons, but anyone who could afford brought entertainment inside the house. There were parties inside houses. There were private parties. People set up, when projectors started happening, people set up home cinemas for their own viewing. I set mine up, I think, 11 years ago. And I don't think I've been to a theater maybe more than 5 times in Pakistan since then. Is it making economic sense? Are people now coming out of their homes into cinema, like I said, 7,000 in a day, which is a fantastic number, but I'm not sure if that is a number which makes economic sense.
Not now, but definitely in future. For a country like Pakistan, especially Karachi with a 20 million population, if you see the number of cinemas we have, it's nothing. So there's potential. If more entrepreneurs come in the market and build cinemas, definitely they will make economic sense. But for this to be happening, it is necessary that we invest in quality products. Like we have studied a cinema with the intention of giving people the best quality.
So when you say quality products, you mean the software or you mean the setup?
No, the thing which is basically making interaction with the customers, like your screens, your projection system, your sound system, your seatings. So if people get the best in quality, like if they see the movies in a comfortable environment, sharp picture, best sound system, definitely they will come to the cinema, because that thing cannot take place at home.
Well, I don't know about that, but the cinema is a cinema, no doubt.
Definitely.
But home cinemas are good too.
But not any match with the cinema.
Mohsin, do you think that the society is now coming out again? You know the era I'm talking about, 70s and 80s, when we just locked ourselves in.
80s. That was 80s. First of all,
do you think they're coming out?
Everyone who's related to cinema and cinema trade must thank General Musharraf for opening Indian films, because he opened 2008 Feb 13. I was in India, in Bombay. I just landed, and I started getting calls from my journalist friends. They were lining me up for TV interviews and others, because that day he had announced. I had landed and I didn't know, so they told me. And since then,
so that opened the door.
That opened because what had happened, that cinemas were being taken down. Karachi had more than 100 cinemas. Where I live in Nazimabad, Block 4. and the area surrounded every block, not my block, but we had 8 cinemas around when we were growing up. 8 cinemas, and we had a choice. And people used to go out. Security also
Sure.
mattered, but people used to go out. People would watch films. Pakistan film industry was producing more than 100 films.
Mhm.
That is about 65 Urdu, 35, 40 Punjabi, then some Pashto. So things were happening, and Pashto and Punjabi films were released in
Sure.
Karachi as
Sure.
well. So then suddenly, whatever happened, we don't want to go into details. Everyone knows. But then 2013, when Indian films, which always had a huge market in Pakistan and got banned after
Sure.
1965, they started coming in. So we needed more places to show them because we didn't have most cinemas were taken down and turned into plazas or shopping centers like Capital and there were so many in
Endless.
Arshi and all that.
Rex and all, they all
Rex,
turned
Rex, Hashu, Rex, all those stuff. So now, since we had spaces to show, and this is multiplex era, not single screen. In fact, multiplexes are replacing single screen.
not just the fact that there were places, but I think showing those Indian films, which a lot of people were
No,
very
but
vocal
at
against.
that time we didn't realize everyone was up in arms that Indian films,
Yeah.
Indian films.
But that
we don't
brought
really-
people out.
That
It created an
that
environment,
brought people out.
the viewership.
That brought people out. Then people felt that there should be more spaces because there's more business to be.
And when there's more
money
people
to be-
coming in, there's new
more
cinema.
new cinemas. So everything, and now we have more spaces. So it has given strength or encouragement to local filmmakers to make films. Now,
It sort of kickstarted our industry again.
yes.
Yeah.
However, one thing we should refrain from. This is our laziness because intellectual laziness that we use revival of cinema. That's a grand word. One film doesn't revive cinema. I've been hearing this thing since Jiva. Jiva was the first film in 1995 when it was released. Oh, revival of cinema. And since then, revival has been
And when was
happening.
Churia? That was also.
And then Chunia, and then Diwani Tere Pyar Ke, and Jo Dar Gaya Wo Mar Gaya, and Falana, and Dhamaka,
Every
and
one was a
Bol,
revival.
and Bol, and Khuda Ke Liye. Everything is revival of cinema. There's no revival of cinema. Revival of theatre trade. Sure. But not cinema, because we do, for revival, it's a process. It's a multifaceted process. Okay? Multi-pronged strategy.
But isn't that revival also happening most?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because we do not have screenplay writers to begin with. And the films that are being made at the moment are glorified television dramas. Be it Khuda Ke Liye, or Bol, or Ramchand Pakistani,
the way they done the film.
or because cinema grammar is something completely different. It is the screenplay. The screenplay is the backbone of cinema. These two people are sitting here. Well, I'm just a viewer who've been watching. And you were saying that when we were small, yes, Samson and Delilah. But when we were small and we were totally underage, we used to go to drive-in. And drive-in lots of... And once we watched Ryan's Daughter, we didn't know that it was playing. The elders didn't know it was playing.
But also didn't make any sense to you, I'm sure that.
It did. It did.
I was trying to defend you here, but you...
No, my point is,
I was giving an exit.
please try to understand and don't use grand terms recklessly. That revival of cinema. No, we need screenplay writers. Go to Lahore studios, our studios,
Okay,
and they're in shambles.
Filmmaking as an industry, you say, is not revival.
Yes, cinema is not. Theatre trade.
Theatre going isn't.
Theatre
Okay, but
trading.
my point,
There's a difference.
and I'll open it with this with you. Isn't one going to trigger the other? Exactly when we said that Indian film triggered viewership triggered
Spaces.
business triggered space. Space is now triggering once again because now people are going to what once they've come out of home. Because ever since we remember, first with the 3 boxes, the Philips.
Yeah.
The first Indian movie I saw was on a massive
Which
cinema
one was
projector. I don't even know. In my house,
Mine
in the
was
driveway. No, this is way before that. This is way before that. And in our driveway, we had this massive screen and a projector, and I think 400 people in the driveway sitting and watching. And I'm like, what the hell has come into our house?
It was 77. Curfew.
But with the band, with the 3 boxes and the VHSs and the betas, and he's hiding them under his shirts and the whole shebang. All that has happened. But if we look at today, isn't our film, good or bad, making a revival of people are making money and making an effort at least? There's somebody there to watch thanks to these gentlemen.
See, right now, in terms of filmmaking, honestly speaking, I would tend to agree with Mohsen that we're just like, fine, we're sitting in a year where we're talking about 3-4 films coming ahead. We have had 2-3
films this month or what?
3, I think Zinda Bhag's coming up, I think War is coming up, and 2 have released.
So, but 4 a month, what do you want?
Coming up, that's not the point
but
at the
after
moment.
How long?
And then we've had 2 releases, like we've had Josh releasing this year, and we've had Main Hoon Shahid Afridi releasing this year. So we've had movies coming out, not like the best quality. And I've had people, like, because I blog, I get people commenting on my blog, appreciate because it's Pakistani. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to appreciate it because it's Pakistani. I'm going to appreciate it against a Hollywood movie or an Indian movie on the same level, because for me, it's entertainment. And like Mohsen, I'm an audience. So for me, if I'm spending a 500 rupees...
Patronizing is not...
So for me, the 500 rupees is going to be spent on a Pakistani film versus a Hollywood.
No, I do agree with you guys, but I think revival or things like... I mean, I'm agreeing with you here. It doesn't happen overnight.
You
have to take baby steps towards that. But I think we are getting there, where the process has started. Now, if you look at the entire value chain, it starts from your raw talent, and then it goes towards pre-production, and then production, and then...
I disagree with raw talent when you're saying, because what you're seeing in films now with television actors, every day at 8 o'clock you watch them on TV, at times 3 channels, the same face.
Right.
Cinema is magic. Cinema is
No, but I would, like, this is where I would interject, and I would say that you are seeing raw talent also, because if you saw...
Yes, Zinda Bhag.
Zinda Bhag is one of them. It's completely new names.
Totally
new names, unknown faces, unknown people. And yes, while Zinda Bhag also has the criticism of someone like Nasiruddin Shah, who is imported from India to be in the movie.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It's cross-cultural.
And they didn't have the same... that's so funny.
No, but you also throw in a...
Khuda ke liye didn't have the same criticism.
No, but you always throw in a big name to get the viewership.
It
happens the whole world.
I would say the Nasiruddin Shah, not because of big name, because who he is. He's a great actor.
But then having said that, you look at movies like Main Hoon Shahid Afridi, where they've completely taken a Pakistani star cast and everything, and you see the older ones are not as good in terms of performing as the younger talents are.
Here's a question. So here's a question from my side. Do you think, so this is just like a chicken and egg story, right? So I mean, that whether you want to have screens first, or which means exhibition, entire paraphernalia first, or the production talent first?
No chicken and egg story. Simple. You have spaces, and then people will be encouraged. The business
and spaces.
No,
because what you
and that's
see,
what's happening with seeing it.
We were losing spaces. All 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We were losing spaces.
I think there's another problem. You see, one is spaces, the other is software. The third is the whole mindset which says, I will not go to the cinema.
No.
I agree, but how did you change that? Maybe you change that with one...
foreign content to come in?
Not just that. I haven't seen any foreign content except for the one you took me last month.
Software.
I went to see Bol. I went to see Khuda Ke Liye just because of the hype, and I said, well, let me see what's new. I actually went and added my dollar, my rupee to the box.
I came back
the thing is,
myself.
No, but regardless. But the thing is, it did trigger the effect, the curiosity. People start going up, good or bad. Sure, there's a lot lacking right now, but it is in a direction. I mean, Indian cinema today is a giant. But look at the kind of...
Everything needs money.
Look at the kind of junk they put out.
One odd movie that's really good.
So you have to keep driving the business.
Everything needs to make sense in numbers. Numbers must make sense. And we are living in the era of marketing. Okay, Khuda Ke Liye was a well, I went and because of the topic and its boldness of the dialogues, that's it. But as a film, if you look at it, it was a lousy film. Totally.
Yeah, but see,
But
that's,
marketing was so strong
yeah.
that built the hype. And you know that how much money was behind Khuda Ke Liye.
So this is
Because you need to have money.
software plus. I would like to add. Please. Cinemas, theaters, as Mohsen said, can play a role in promoting the film industry overall. Because, in my opinion, even an average movie can be sustained at least for some period of time by a good cinema, good theater, because the sound effects and all these things
I fully
not
agree.
only
do
that,
play a role.
Not only that, it's like the dynamics of movie business, if you read about it internationally, is changing. It's all becoming about the opening weekend impact.
Sure.
So even Hollywood or Bollywood is all about the opening weekend, which is what Mausen said, marketing.
Which drives the
Yeah, so the marketing drives the opening weekend business, and for that opening weekend boom business to happen, you need cinemas.
Gone are the days
but I
of
want to add,
Jubilees, platinum.
Exactly.
Gone are the days.
Gone are the
Platinum,
days. The
gold.
movies are gone.
When
We
we were
don't know
young,
that.
but I want to add to what Salim is saying, and I fully agree.
Yes.
And I've seen so many movies which, were horrendous because they were in IMAX.
Like Satyagraha, when you
I don't know how many useless films I've seen because
Oh my
of the
God.
massive
Oh my
seats and the
God.
IMAX, Because of the which is like 25 feet tall.
Oh.
I've loved them. Okay,
And-
so
and-
so I agree.
The cinema was brilliant.
Sure.
Your cinema
Sure.
is brilliant.
Exactly. So
Loved
that
it.
is changing. Now I need to take a short break in a moment. But when I come back, I'd like to also stress one thing. When you talk about the environment, and we talked about it earlier, and I'd like to raise this on air because I think you're stuck in a position where you can't change it. So I'd like our viewers to take note. Do we know how to come to cinema? I've been to 3 or 4 movies
I
ever
want to talk about
recently.
I want to talk about that too.
We all want to talk about it, and I want to raise this point with you. And the reason I stopped going to some of these, I just went a couple of times, is when the film ended and the lights were turned on, there was so much food. It made me cry. And I said, I cannot be a part of this. I've seen people discussing food recipes. आज मैं film देख रहा हूँ, अच्छा क्या पकाया? And I wanted to kill that woman, and people who were with me just held me back because I am fully capable of getting up and screaming.
Oh, that's
That's
better.
true.
No,
I'm
at
coming.
least
I'm
they
coming.
cover that
I'm-
with mobile cameras.
I'm raising.
What about the?
I'm raising children, which is okay, but leave them home. We hate to watch movies in
If
silence.
you don't have
So-
trained and well-trained children,
so-
then no.
If you don't have children who can shut up, then no.
Okay, well, in probably America or Britain or anywhere else in the world, there are laws that if you put the phone on, so why can't our government doesn't have, and they will not have such laws? Why can't you guys enforce similar laws? If somebody makes noise, pick them up and relieve them of their misery and our misery as well. Let's take a short break. Not noisy one, please. Let's take a short break. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Perspectives. We're talking about cinema. We were talking about, got into this argument with Mohsen, as always, about whether cinema is reviving or not. I say it is reviving. It is not revived, but it is reviving. Even if you go back and talk about the movies you talked about 15 years ago, who claimed to be the revival of cinema, or maybe they didn't make the revival happen, but they did trigger the revival. They did make that first step. But revival of the film industry is a separate topic. We'll cover it on the show. But tonight, we're talking about revival of the theatre. And the discussion, which I promised before the break, one of the reasons I refuse, and I still refuse, to go to any cinema house in Pakistan is because of the chaos that ensues in theatres. People throwing food like if they're wildebeest on the run. People just loud, using cell phones, having conversation, and screeching infants. Sir,
You talk about the environment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right. But these things can be controlled.
Can be, I know.
And
Why aren't they?
we
is
are
the question.
one of those. We are controlling it to some extent. For
Alright.
example, you cannot talk on a mobile phone in our theaters. It does
What's
not
the
work.
fine?
Well, it does not work. We have jammers, you can say.
Okay, fine.
Plus other things like children and all these. I mean, this can be controlled if you enforce the rules forcefully. Although it's
with
a societal problem.
with apology, can be if that's what politicians say. No.
But it is being controlled to some extent, as I said. That's our theater. We are controlling it. We are lucky ones to have some educated kind of consumers.
Are you charging premium?
No. Our prices are
At par.
With the market. So you can enforce the rules forcefully. With the passage of time, people will learn. This is how important it is.
Yeah, but see, the dilemma with the passage of time is that the numbers we're talking about, the businesses we're talking about. You made a point earlier that how will you add the numbers in if you don't allow. But the thing is, I don't think you will ever add the numbers unless if you just put your foot down. And also, why aren't you charging premium? You can have economy, but I think you have premium theaters. Or Ocean does.
Yeah, and we do. Yeah, both of us have platinum. So, for example, in my case, we have a platinum screen. It is the premium. It is like 2 times the silver or general entry, which is fine, and you give that premium service as well. But coming back to your point, coming back to your main question, nowhere in the world do people enforce these sort of things.
Yes, they do.
Restaurants, cinemas.
No, not in cinema.
Yes, they do.
Films, of course, violent films. Children are not allowed.
And noisy people are.
So about the food discipline and about the noise discipline. For example, so I just moved from US. I lived there for 18 years in New York and then in Texas, and I have 3 kids, 10, 6, and 2. So I have been, or I should have been, a victim of the kind of things that you have been saying. But the market has developed in those economies to a point where even when my kid cries, I politely get up and take the kid out. Here, we are trying to enforce it with bouncers.
How are you enforcing it?
So you can have 3 or 4 bouncers there.
Can or do?
We do have those.
Do.
And we politely request, but look, everything goes back to your national character. So if there's a guy sitting saying,
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm going to intervene and say this.
No, please do.
We are not disciplined as a nation. Okay, I'm sorry,
exactly.
we're not.
Yeah.
It's like a danda raj in this country.
Okay,
and
I have another question.
We're
you
not.
You say it's about the national character.
Right.
It is your responsibility to build that national character.
You're right.
That's
and
exactly
we are doing
what
that.
I'm saying.
Restaurants
Second
don't
question.
allow under 12.
Second question.
Yeah, some restaurants
No,
don't
restaurants
allow
are
under
fine.
12, and then people yes, there have been people, and I've personally seen them who've been like, no, but where am I going to leave my child?
Then don't come.
They have done that, but
Yes.
then the restaurant's like, I'm sorry, that is really not my
And
problem.
that's your problem.
And-
Don't come.
Yeah.
Your baby, you have
So
a baby.
that is where you
produce
make
that
a business
baby.
call.
Okay,
And
now-
there has been in this one small cinema, which was your predecessor in multiplexes,
Right.
and still there,
Right.
which is kind of like a forgotten cinema, the Cineplex on
Cineplex.
Cineplex on
Preview.
Like,
I'm
Not
being
a
like,
forgotten sin.
on my list it's forgotten.
That's right.
Okay, so they have a policy of families only.
Right.
So they don't allow tags. Which is great for certain type of people. Like economic wise, it doesn't again make sense, because why are we being like, we go back to one of the older show about men's rights as well here. But then let's just stick to the point that being fine. They made that economic decision.
But at least they're saying the right thing. They're not hiding women. They know you're bad. Who the baddie is.
Yeah, who the baddie is. So then a single man like Mohsen wanting to go see a movie
God.
alone cannot do
But you
that.
need a constitutional amendment for that.
Okay, but then coming back to
But
it,
maybe for
our
provincial
nation
data.
needs to be educated for basic etiquette.
Yeah.
If there's
No,
food,
you're right.
trust me, like
and
when
you
you're
didn't run
traveling in
slides.
Yeah.
You don't run slides. You don't make announcements.
Okay, I have a
You
question.
don't.
you have to make announcements.
enforce
Your bouncers
these
need to make sure infants below 2 at least
I
are
have-
not
I have
allowed.
demand.
slides.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a
polite.
demand. Why is there no anthem before your film?
Yes, that was one of the ones.
There is.
No, there isn't.
They have
Full
it.
anthem.
Yeah, we do have national anthem.
No, you don't.
Oceans does.
I didn't experience it.
HMN doesn't.
But I didn't experience it.
You must have come in.
We went to their theater.
Yeah. No, no, they do.
Yeah,
They
you
do.
would have gotten late.
No,
They
no,
do.
we would.
They do.
We have the anthem before all.
They have
Full
anthem,
length?
full length, proper anthem. Oceans and Atrium doesn't.
I
New
salute
Plus
you,
and
sir.
Atrium doesn't.
You have my business.
New Plus and Atrium doesn't.
We don't. Basically,
So you have to do it. I have never known a
Why
country.
don't you do it? Huh?
okay,
We'd like to
the
know
reason is that in some cinemas, when this was a practice, people stopped standing up. People stopped respecting it.
That's okay.
So I
Again, you
believe,
need to educate
I
No, no,
believe, I
no.
believe respect doesn't come with the anthem. It comes with other things.
You know, I've
No, but that's, I would say that is their a personal prerogative or etiquette.
and the society will
Okay,
make them get
exactly.
it.
And the next
Others will
person
make them get
on. So you just can't stop a good thing because somebody is not following that.
It's not respecting.
Fine, but my second point was patriotism doesn't come with anthem.
No, no, it's
No,
not
no,
about
no, no,
patriotism.
education
I would
of
say
it.
I fully
tradition.
understand
That's a
that.
separate
But you know what? These are little things.
That
Yeah.
counts.
I'm going to be. I've never said this repeatedly. I'm on PTV. I can say one of the reasons I gave up on private media is because there used to be a flag here on my laptop, and I used to read the anthem because I think singing is great, but people don't understand Pakistan's anthem when it's sung. They think it's Persian, it's not Urdu. So I started saying it with comma full stops, and that was stopped. And that was one of the biggest arguments I had. I said, "Why are you stopping my anthem?" At the end of the show, the end credits, and I said, "You know what? I don't want to be a part of this." And I walked away. And I can state TV where you can do the anthem, you can do the flag, you can do whatever. But my point here is, the most movies I've probably ever seen are in Bangkok because they have fantastic theaters, or in Thailand, and they have the King's Anthem.
Yeah.
And
And foreigners get
the
out.
number of times I saw the King's Anthem, I started feeling
Getting
tired.
up.
Yeah.
We can't judge that he or she doesn't respect.
Yeah, fine.
Fine.
Forget about basic etiquette. If people do not have respect for their food and do not have respect for the next
Okay, they put
person.
them enough on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, my question to the society.
Mm.
Why do they not respect? You walk into a theater, it's perfectly clean, they've cleaned it up, it's shiny. Why do we make it such a
Because
disaster?
I agree with him that
They
it
can't
reflects,
control it.
no, it reflects
It's our
your
upbringing.
national attitude, your societal attitude towards everything. We
We
as
don't stand
people,
in line.
that we accuse and we spit around. We think that we don't take ownership of our country because we think that
Throw red butts around?
once I got out of I was driving by in front of the Sim Club, and a big car, chauffeur-driven car, got out of Sim Club, and the man rolled down the glass and threw something out. Later, so I sped up and caught him, and I knocked at his window, and I said, "Sir, you threw something of yours." I said, he did this. I said, and you're shameless as well. I'm sorry, you're my senior, elder, but you are doing this. So we think that our four walls are our responsibility to clean them and everything, just right outside our house.
In front of a gate, it's all right.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna
That's the attitude.
I'm gonna bring it back to theatre.
Yeah.
The reason this discussion is happening is because, like I said in the opening, theatre of 40 years ago built certain values which we are regretting today. Cinema and theatre combined built values in the 40 years ago that if God forbid, a woman is raped, she should commit suicide. That's the only thing left.
You're talking about cinema.
I'm not putting them on the spot. Right? In cinema, going to theatre was a culture.
Yeah.
Okay? Going to the opera,
The culture.
40 years ago was a culture. Going to
Concert,
Broadway
Mushaira.
now, or you go in your shorts. They've destroyed the whole culture of going to see Phantom of the Opera. All right? So,
Good example.
it is a culture.
Yeah.
All right? That culture needs to come back. And you guys are doing fantastic. You guys are sort of becoming these institutes now where people have to get into. I didn't realize you were at the ocean. We went to buy those tickets and there was this chaos in the line. And I was like, why is this chaos there? Why can't...
Let me, and see, don't blame
No,
them.
I'm not
for,
blaming them. I'm saying
the people.
I'm saying they have this great opportunity
Exactly.
to change things. That's not at all blaming you. You're not responsible for the culture.
No, it's very interesting that you mentioned that. And just before that, you mentioned Bangkok as well. So let's go back to Bangkok just for a second. So Bangkok has a population of 8 million, right? For 8 million, how many screens do you think they've got? Any guess?
No idea.
407 screens.
Okay.
So 407 screens for those 8 million people. And we were talking about the movie industry as well. So how many movies do you think they run? How many local movies?
Local in Hollywood and
Local movies are less than 10%.
Sure.
Of their content. But over time, after the screen started to put together and all, over time there has been this market development phase that has educated people to a point where queues, all of that you were mentioning, that has already happened. Now, if I apply the same analogy on my oldest cinema, which is in Pindi, 5-screener, the one that I mentioned before. Initially, it used to be a much bigger chaos, and initially the cleaning process that happens between the movies used to take 30 minutes because there was no way we were able to do it in a short
of burning the place down.
Right, but then now that time has shrinked to 15 minutes. So what I'm trying to say, there is this market development phase that is happening, and again coming back to these queues, coming back to the queues that you mentioned, in Jinnah Park in our Pindi location, the queues are much more disciplined than here. So now I have all of my hopes pinned down on this hypothesis that given some time, if we spend in the right direction, people will learn.
Hopefully, we'll have those grand old glamorous glittering premieres as well.
And so 1 second. So let me.
It's just everyone is at the last premiere, the glittering.
Yeah, so let me just spend 1 second. Let me just spend 1 second on this because I think you mentioned that you live in Nazmabad area, right? So we just kicked off one of our cinemas, Federal Bay area, right? Karimabad. And
that is the older cinema.
So again, the quality of people and the discipline of people there, I can just say that I was not expecting.
That's the educated part of Karachi, by the way. Let me correct.
No, I apologize. I'm not from Karachi.
He's not from Karachi.
I apologize.
He's not from
the
Karachi.
The bubble is where all the upstarts are.
Yeah, so you will find that's the educated part of Karachi.
I'm telling you, 8 cinemas we used to have.
But,
and matinee shows. You know,
right.
shows and
we are doing that. Yeah,
we are doing that too. We would walk on a weekend.
I know. We've been arguing with them. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I've
brilliant.
completely lost touch with what you're doing.
Brilliant
over
job.
there. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
And we needed cinemas. Great.
Yeah, see, like from an exhibitor, from a movie watchers, and I'm like a passionate movie watcher. Like me and my husband, that's the biggest entertainment we have.
In Pakistan, by the way, anyone.
Food is. I'm sorry. You cannot. We're a minority. You cannot beat food yet.
Fashion and film.
Yeah. You cannot beat food yet.
Film is coming up now.
Yeah. But like we're the kind of people who actually go and watch movies back to back. Like on this last Friday, we watched 2 movies back to back at your cinema. We do that. Don't give me that.
Come to our cinema.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I come to your cinema too.
And we love films. That's why we watch everything
film that comes out, we watch. Like out of Pakistan, out non-Pakistani, we're very happy. We get to see everything. We travel a lot. So like this was the first trip we did where we actually did not see a single movie abroad because we were like, no, because we were like, you know what? We can watch it in Pakistan. Let's just experience the country outside. Sure. Because previously it used to be like, these are the
movies we don't watch.
Even watching a movie was a part of your international experience as well.
Exactly. So
very well. But now it has become
and I was talking to a group of friends about it the other day, and we were all of the same opinion that movie watching has stopped being part of our international travel plans because we can watch them in Pakistan. And
they've done great service.
So,
yes, of course, that culture is coming back.
Yes, but having said that, because we have watched movies internationally, because we know what cinema experience is all about, our expectations are much higher. Are much higher from day one. So when we go into a cinema, when I say I've written off a particular cinema or something like that, I'm not being mean to the cinema. I'm just, as an audience who's paying for a particular venue, has a certain level of expectation.
Like your platinum is what, 1,100, 1,200, something like that?
1,000 to 1,200.
Yeah, but then when I'm sitting at that...
Somebody was arguing with me, and I was trying to say, it's fantastic. That's the only one I've seen. I said, it's fantastic. So yeah, but it's 1,200. And I said, if you convert, it's $10.
Right.
I understand. We're sitting in Pakistan, but anybody who is spending that, it's a very cheap movie.
Right.
It's still a very cheap movie.
It's a very... You have platinums as well. Yeah, and what's your price tag? Same.
1,000 to 1,250.
So that's nothing compared to, and you're giving free snacks. or you charge for the snacks?
We are not. No, we are not.
No,
We charge for the
Well, in the package
And
when
you
where
charge for the snacks as well?
snacks and drinks are
So
served.
that's billed.
Yeah.
Whatever. Which is fine, but you're giving in movie
It's a
service.
luxurious environment.
No, that's okay. So even if you spend
And
another
how,
400 rupees
like
on that,
if I may ask, how are your premium cinemas doing?
Our premium cinema is going almost full.
Okay.
It's doing better than other cinemas.
okay, and you guys have online booking yet? You don't have online
Yes,
booking.
it's the same experience. We do have online booking as well.
I tried last time. There was nothing on the website.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons I never come.
no.
We also deliver it to the home.
Yeah,
So you call and you will deliver tickets. Super.
So
And you have online
So
seat selection?
Not yet.
Any
Huh?
plan?
Not yet, but very soon it's coming.
Any plans to go
Yeah.
drive-in? Because I really
Oh, for
want
God's
drive-in.
sake.
It
That
was
is not
gorgeous.
happening.
Yes, in the same mall, we are trying to see if we could park the cars right next to the cinema. I'm just kidding. No, there's
No.
Get out of here.
You cannot
There
do
are
it.
no
used to be
You don't
so
have
much fun
you don't have
drive-in.
drive-ins anywhere in the world now.
Now why can't we
because
have
of the
drive-in?
space.
Because of the real estate.
Yeah, the real estate is
Yeah,
important.
there you go.
The Murray Drive-In cinema.
Okay.
I
Have you
don't
ever
know
been
what
to-
must have come up. They haven't been there in ages. Murray Drive-In cinema. What
No,
became of that?
drive-in, the original drive-in.
What
the
became of
drive-in
Hill
Yeah,
Park,
but-
at Hill Park as well, right?
What
No,
became
no,
of
no. The,
Shopping mall.
No, that one is like a shadi hall now.
Mall
same
and
thing.
Shadi Hall is the
That
Same
one is
difference.
shadi hall, same difference. Yeah.
And during
Yeah,
winter,
entertainment.
it used
So,
to be
so
so much
everything
fun.
everything has become so much monetized that everyone is
But what's
looking at
wrong with
per
that?
capita, per inch
But you're in it for
revenue.
the money as well,
So,
right?
So the amount of money
Absolutely.
you've invested,
But
you
we're
have
talking
to
about the
recover it.
drive-in cinema and
But
all.
you can
So-
charge 2,000 or 3,000 per car.
Okay, stop the driving.
Drive-
Stop the
let's-
driving.
You don't know what fun drive-ins are
We were
and what
talking about
other
it,
fun
but-
you can have in drive-ins.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much. I'm glad I don't.
Was in the
Should I
Gujarat.
tell you? The closing notes.
I would expect entrepreneurs to invest in theaters, in quality theaters, because that is something which will revive the movie industry on overall basis.
Okay, typically I won't allow this. What's your website? Please tell.
Newplex.com.
That's NUEPLEX.com.
Yeah.
And your booking number?
111-683-683.
111-683-683. Go watch movies in the theaters. Less on theirs, more on theirs because they don't play the anthem yet. By tomorrow they'll fix it, then you can
We'll play on quality.
anthem. That's a sticky subject with me.
No problem.
Sir, closing notes.
I think even from on the economic side, it makes sense. I think we are doing a great national service as well.
No
Because as we said, this is a trickle-down process. When people would come and invest on the exhibition side, it will also strengthen your production side and your talent side. So when you're coming to our cinemas, you're not only coming for your own family entertainment, but you are actually doing national service as well. And it's going to help strengthen the entire industry.
Fantastic. What's your website?
Cinepax.com.
That's CINEPAX.
That is
.com, and you have a booking phone number?
We have Facebook / Cinepax Cinemas.
Great.
We have 111 Cinepax.
111 Cinepax. Fantastic. Go to both. More here because the anthem until they catch up. Yeah, well,
Okay. For me, movies are like I say, love movies, love watching movies, and I would suggest to everyone who's out there, like whether you have kids, go for the animations. Like be a little sensible as an audience as well. These guys are putting a lot of money in, so we as the citizens and movie watching people also have a certain amount of responsibility. Please do not bother people who are watching a movie. Don't be noisy, loud, annoying, bratty over there. If you have kids, either teach them discipline before you get them there,
Leave them home.
or leave them home, or leave them outside with your mates
give
because
them,
a sleeping pill.
yeah, or cough syrup.
Or
Enough.
cough syrup.
Enough
Yeah, give
of
them
your
something.
horrible
Like,
ideas.
please. Yes, Neoplex has jammers, but really, do we need jammers? We should be adult enough to know we need to switch off our mobiles. So, there's a lot of onus that lies on us as the audience who goes to the movies, because we're sitting in a cinema hall of 400 people. They're there. They pay the same money you have, and just because you've popped a child doesn't mean they should suffer. So, have courtesy. That's all I'm saying. Basic courtesy. If you
And a
bought
strong cough syrup.
and if you bought popcorn, have the courtesy to have that popcorn in a manner that you're having more of it and your floor is having less of it. So, those are basic things, basic
And
etiquette.
Don't put your feet up on the seat.
Exactly.
Don't, because
Yeah.
they have invested a lot of money
Yeah.
for you,
In
for
the
us,
carpet, in the seats,
in the carpet, in the cinema, everything for us, for society, so that we watch a movie, we have a real great experience of movie watching.
Mohsin and I were
Don't
sitting
destroy
at the
that
launch of
for us.
Satyagraha.
Don't
We were sitting
vandalize.
at the launch of Satyagraha at the Neoplex Cinema,
Yeah.
and Satish Anand came and sat in front of us. And that man had immense amount of pride on his face because
Yes.
those are the people, that's a
I
generation
mean,
that
he's an
saw.
icon of cinema.
Yeah, and
Satish
that's the
Anand.
generation that's seen movies die in Pakistan.
And
but now
it
they're
is
seeing it come
so
back.
heartening for him.
It is heartening. So everyone appreciates what you guys are doing.
Yes, we do appreciate.
And while we appreciate that, we want you to put those checks and balances for the rest of this nation. Do
Yes.
that.
Teach them,
Teach them manners.
discipline them.
Discipline them.
will stand with you.
We are with you.
We
Trust
are with
me.
you. And please
Thank you.
open more cinemas because I have to drive to that side.
See, just open in your neighborhood.
No, that neighbor, but I mean, Nazawad, North Nazawad, Gulshan, Federal area. There's so many. I'm telling you, just
Huge
8
population.
cinemas. Yeah, when?
Thank you.
When can I have? No?
Next 3 years.
Next
Next
3
year.
years if I
Kaun
die.
jeeta hai
matlab
tere
kaun jeeta hai
Thank you
tere
very
ko.
much, all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck. Congratulations. Thank you. We hope you do more and more business. Give me a call as soon as you've got the anthem. I'll be the first one to stand. No. Regular show anthem, not a separate anthem.
Playing anthem.
I said,
Come on, he cannot probably have this discussion on TV. Until next time, watch movies, enjoy them, be civil. That's if you can spend 1,200 rupees for a seat, which means you've got enough money in your pocket, behave like you have it. Good night.